World War II brought a major expansion in the production in 1944 at a billion bushels during the war, and the export of the large quantities of the wheat and flour were part of the Land Lease and Foreign Aid program. In 1966, exports reached 80-60 million bushels, of the which 570 million were provided as a food. Made a major drought in the Soviet Union in 1972 resulted in the sale of the 90 million bushels, and agreement was given in 1975 to provide grain to Russia for a 5-year period. Under this policy, marketing by 1900, the exchange of the private grain set the daily prices of the North America wheat sent in 2010. Explain how a program set wheat prices in the United States. After 1933, Canadian citizens set up a wheat board to do so. The Canadian government has asked prices grower to provide all their grains to the Canada Wheat Board, the only selling desk agency that has provided private wheat marketing in the Western Canada. Meanwhile, the United States government subsidized farm income with domestic consumption taxes and import taxes, but otherwise protects private wheat marketing. Cotton wool. During the colonial period, small quantities of the high quality long cotton were produced in the islands off the coast of South Carolina. At home, only small cotton can be grown, but it was full of the seeds and very difficult to process in fiber. For the first time in the late 1790s, and the invention of the cotton made short cotton usable. It was generally designed to plant plants from South Carolina to the west, with the black slaves working with it. At the same time, the rapid growth of the Industrial Revolution in the United Kingdom, centered on the textile, created a huge demand for the fiber. Cotton quickly eliminates soils, so planters use their profit to buy fresh lands to the west and buy more slaves from the border states to run their new plants. After the 1810, emerging textile mills in the New England also indicated huge demand. By the 1820s, to 250,000 bales out of the 1,500 pounds each were exported to Europe, with a value of the 2,200. By the 1840s, exports reaches 1.5 million bales worth US 64 millions, about two-thirds of all US exports. Cotton prices went up because the Southwest, the world's largest supplier. In 1860, the United States shipped 3.5 million bales worth $192 million due to the mixture of the Mexican cotton. Clothes were opened like cotton hairs with the sticky hands when harvested, increasing the amount of the cloth dramatically that could be taken daily. After the Civil War, cotton production expanded to small farms run by white and black tenant farmers and shareholders. Exporters' volume remained stable lumps, but prices dropped in the global market. Although there was some work involved in the planting seeds and cultivating or stopping weeds, the main input of the wages for the cotton was choosing. How much a cotton operation can produce depends on how many hands, men and women, are available. Finally, in 1950s, mechanical harvester allowed a handful of the observer to obtain as many as 100. Before the results was the massive emergence of the white and black cotton growers from the south. By the 1970s, most of the cotton was grown in large automated farms in the southwest.